Hey everyone, welcome to Live Trading Thursday. David Verbruggen with you here again. I missed last week because I was traveling, but glad to be back with you guys again. Like I always say, we got some good stuff going on in the market. And you know what? The market is looking downright ugly, which, if you know what to do in a down market, can be absolutely beautiful. So we're going to be taking a look at that today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. There we go. Got charts by TradeAway pulled up. We'll grab a quick refresh here. While we're going through all of this and looking at this, keep in mind, guys, that all these examples that we're going to look at should be viewed for educational purposes only and not taken as trading or investment advice. Now, guys, you know the drill. Go ahead and load up the comment box with all of your tickers, stocks that you want to look at, any trades that you want to consider. Because this is a good time to paper trade. If you're new to trading and everything and you're like, wow, I didn't know, let's say 6 months ago, you didn't even know that you could make money on the way down. Well, guess what? The market's going down now. So let's go ahead and paper trade that so you can see what that looks like. So fantastic. CJ, I already see that you've got a couple, 3 now popped in. So fantastic. We'll get started with those in just a second here. But looking at the overall market, I've said it before, got a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, now lower low again. The last 2 days just straight up ugly. We're going to talk about that in a second here. I was back up about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. You see an M pattern, a nice clean M pattern sitting right in here. So you got that M pattern, and then we started to drop. Momentarily, some hesitation at the 200 simple moving average. But once we broke that, it's just been a free fall, right? I mentioned this before, right? Stocks like to climb up a mountain. You can see kind of, well, that's a pretty steep climb up a mountain right here. But here now it's just in total free fall for the last couple weeks here. We could also grab, if I dropped a line right about here, see where that was some resistance right there, then caught it as support, then falling back down through there. So that line at about 42.25 could be valid as well. Market down 10% now in the last 3 months. So that is definitely significant. If you guys have been around for a while and you remember when this was called Stock Talk Thursday, what's hot, what's not? Well, here we go. The market is not, right? So definitely not looking hot there. So what do we do with that? Definitely not going to be looking at bullish trades today. Primarily want to be considering bearish trades at this time because we want to be trading with the market. So with that, let's take a look at some specific examples here, some specific tickers, and we're going to go with the ones that CJ's got popped up here. He's already got 4, so that's fantastic. Thanks, CJ. CARG is the first one we're going to be looking at. Car Gurus. All right. Looking at this guy, this chart's actually holding up decently compared to the market. Now, it did show recently some resistance at the 50-day right here and dropping. Couple things I want to consider here. You see this low? I might draw a line there. That could potentially be support. Not sure that it is yet. Let's see if I pull back, look at some more history. It was some support back there as well. Let's get some more historical time frame as well. Okay, so we're at an area of potential support. So I definitely wouldn't want to get bearish on this right now. A great time to have gotten bearish would have actually been 2 days ago when we saw multiple attempts to break that 50, multiple failures, and then a doji. Would have been kind of an early entry. Yesterday could have also been an entry earlier on, and then we'd be wanting to take profit about now. But even then, that wasn't much of a move, just $1. Well, it's $1 move in this area is about a little over 5% on the stock. So don't know what they have options wise. Liquidity is pretty good actually. So liquidity is midway through the green, so that's solid. So what would we do with this right now? Well, a couple things. Earnings is coming up in about a week and a half. So it could be tough. If this breaks this line right here and you wanted to catch try and catch a breakout to the downside, you could be in that trade for just a few days and potentially make some on there. But the first thing that did strike me was that, hey, this chart is holding up pretty well compared to the market, right? Yeah, it had a pretty significant drop right here, but the last 3 months or so has not been as dramatic of a drop since the market, while the market has come down. So anyway, with all that to say, if you're wanting to get bearish, there might be some better charts out there. All right, let's take a look at NOW. ServiceNow. All right, same one here. Earnings just happened yesterday. And wow, they blew earnings out of the water. Estimated 89 cents. And their actual earnings per share was $2.92. Curious what the previous was. Same with the previous. They blew that one out of the water too. Let's look at the one before. I've seen this before. I have to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure why this is. Why do some companies do this? They estimate a certain earnings and then they just demolish it every time. And it kind of takes, I mean, here you can see, wow, they absolutely demolish it here as well. But the stock didn't jump up because I guess people are just used to that. They're just used to them quoting an estimate that is pretty low, and they know that they're going to come in quite a bit higher. So kind of weird as to why they do that. I'll be honest, I don't know why they do that, but there you go. There you have it. Now, here's the thing: earnings can at times change the pattern, right? And so, what's the pattern that we see here? Well, honestly, it's not even a very clear one. You can maybe catch a support line on the bottom right about here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and draw that. You could catch that support line potentially. And if we, click on that, clone it, pull that up, maybe a resistance line up there, you could be looking at something like that. Is it rolling? It's not the greatest roll, not yet at least. But earnings just happened, so I wouldn't want to jump in anything bullish or bearish yet. Let some of that volatility go out. Let some of the, just check to make sure it's still in a good pattern. So that's what I would do with NOW. I just kind of wait on that one for now. Amazon, let's take a look. Amazon had been holding a pretty nice uptrend up until recently. Dropped there, so we made a new low, a lower high, and now a lower low again. Amazon coming up on earnings today, AMC after market close. Definitely not trading Amazon right now. Earnings is happening after, in just in a few hours actually. So I gotta wait and see what happens with that. Even though the market's coming down and Amazon is as well, got the 200 simple day moving average that's approaching. So want to see what happens there first. EQT. All right, looking at this one again, it is earnings season, guys. So, many of these that we're going to be looking at either have just had earnings or are about to have earnings. So, just different things we want to consider there. EQT had a nice uptrend as well, broke that as well. We could probably draw some new lines along the top here. You maybe could put a line there. I'm not convinced on that line there yet. I'm going to hold off on that. But just some wild volatility. You see, that's like a massive doji today because the earnings just came out probably yesterday after the market, and now we're kind of getting all of that volatility out, figuring out where we're going to go from here, right? So it's just we want to look for quality patterns, and there are some good downtrending patterns. I'll show you guys briefly in a few minutes how we can maybe start to find some of those. CJ said I put it on my watch list because it was all green initially last week. Yeah. So if this or Amazon was all green, if you're looking for bullish trades, that could be something to consider. This market, however, I might be looking for all reds instead. We can show that real quick. What would I do? And we're talking about these boxes right here. So technicals, insiders, valuation, fundamentals. Green, yellow, red, fairly self-explanatory there. All green is one that our eyes just kind of get glued to initially, right? But what about all red? What does that look like? If I come to the scans here, and then I want to look at Oh my goodness, where did it go here? Feature, the score, that's where it is. So you click on feature, then click on the score, and you can see scores all green current. There's only 3 of them. What about scores all red? Scores all red current, 100 of them. Wow. If I click on this, there's all these guys, all reds, all reds. That's pretty rough. Now you may need to actually um, filter some of this because you can see the volume is pretty rough on some of these. So we can actually come up here, apply filter setting to the results. So I want to do that. And the volume, I'm going to select that right there. I know I'm going pretty quick here, but this is all recorded. So you can watch this again, guys. Greater or equal to, I'm going to type in 1 million. I'm going to apply that. All of a sudden, there you go. It brings up 2. It brings up 2. Baba and Para. So let's grab these 2. I'm just going to select them. That's the check mark button. Select those, highlight those guys. I'm going to move them over to, by clicking the beaker button, it's going to take them to research and chart. Okay, here we go. Baba. Check out Alibaba here. This is actually a pretty decent downtrending pattern. I've already got a line on here that's been on there for a bit. I can adjust that line some. There we go. Right about there or so. That's pretty good. Earnings is still a few weeks away, so we got some time, and Alibaba's been pulling up. That's great. If it can pull up and bounce down from this line again, we might have an opportunity there. So if you're looking to paper trade to the downside, put this one on your watch list. Put this one on your watch list. See if it can come up for another day or two and then bounce down. That could be a good one to take a look at. PARA, Paramount. This one is actually pretty nice downtrend as well. It may be hard to get good lines on it, but I want to highlight what it's actually doing here. Let's zoom in a little bit right about there. Now, yeah, earnings is in a few days, so that could pose a challenge. May need to wait on that one. But recently, what has been the resistance? It has been this white line. So the 20-day has been resistance once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Before that, it was the 50-day. Sometimes you'll see that where a stock, if it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, that 50-day will be resistance. Then it'll jump and the 20-day will be resistance. Then it'll jump down and the 10-day will be resistance. So even if this were to pop back up after earnings and hit the 10-day and start to move down, that could be an entry. It'd be a little bit more aggressive, but that could absolutely be an entry. So that's one of the ways that we can use the platform to our advantage. And so that's a great thing that you brought up, CJ, with the all greens, or in this case, the all reds. We just need to know how to use the tools and the technology best so that we can filter things down. We've got over 12,000 stocks or 11,000 or something like that in the entire market. And we were able to just base off the score here and just doing a quick volume filter, get rid of a lot of the stocks that we didn't want to look at. And we immediately found a couple that were pretty decent options to look at, right? Are they at a buy point right now to trade to the downside? No, but it's better if we can actually see them coming. I would rather find something that is approaching a good buy point a couple days from now than immediately be like, oh, it's good to go right now. Why? Because it helps me mentally prepare. If I see, oh, this is coming up, and if I can now put together a good plan, that helps me better than if I see, oh, it's ready to go right now. Because if it's ready to go right now, I might jump into something too quick when my emotions get involved. I get that FOMO, fear of missing out. And now I may make a mistake in my plan. Right? So if I can see this thing coming and kind of watch it and prepare mentally for that trade, have a good plan in place, that's going to help me out a lot more. So I like these two. Put both of those on your watch list if you want a paper trade to the downside, because those could be some good opportunities. All right. CJ's asking, are they required to place their estimate on forecast data? The earnings are always going to do. Look at this one here. They're always going to say, this is what we've done, and then this is what we're estimating in the future, right? So there's kind of 2 parts to it. That's why you might see something like if the earnings report is great, but their the stock goes down. So maybe their estimate for the next quarter isn't that great. So that can be a challenge sometimes there. All right, fantastic. John wants to take a look at Tesla, and that's the one we're going to finish up with today. Let's take a look. Tesla has had some great runs to the upside and some great runs to the downside as well. Let's actually zoom out. Let's do 1 year. I'm going to pull this back. There we go. He was part of one of the great runs to the downside. I mean, this was now about 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, right here, early November 21, up at just over $400 a share. And then a little over a year after that, so January this year, down to $100 a share. So big move down. This area especially, I mean, this was nasty for Tesla, right? And then, of course, it went on some of its massive runs. I mean, this run here about 6 months ago, that was pretty big. We're going down from $150 a share up to nearly $300 a share. So doubling just in a matter of a couple months. What has it been doing since? Well, we kind of have a little bit of lower highs going on, lower low now as well. Pretty big drop on earnings. There was a news thing that had to do with that, and I can't remember what it was. What was it? Someone can throw in the chat if you want. I'm sure someone knows, but they had some kind of data come. Oh, maybe it was their truck, their new pickup truck thing. Like they made mistakes on that, and so it's delayed even further. Maybe that's what it was. But anyway, Tesla coming down again, so we'll have to see. Tesla can be a tough one to catch, right? When it was racing up, it's just riding the 5-day. Riding the 5-day up. When it was racing down, let's see. Again, there's the 5-day. See if I can go back a little further. Maybe I have to go to a year. Yeah, this right here. A lot of times just riding the 5-day down and popping up to the 20. Riding the 5-day down, popping up to the 20. So again, Tesla now starting to look like it might be riding the 5-day down. Did break the 200 simple again. So we'll have to see what happens with that one. But tough to catch. Sometimes, you just kind of have to jump in. And I'm not trying to say that we don't want to get a good buy point. But with a very volatile one like Tesla, sometimes that very good buy point is really tough to catch. And we may just have to accept that our buy point will not be ideal. But as long as we manage our trade with discipline and have a good plan set in place, there could still be ideal results even without an ideal buy point. So all that to be said, lots of fun things going on in the market if you know how to trade to the downside. If you don't know anything about trading to the downside, then it can absolutely be a frustrating time because the market's already down 10% in the last 3 months. So anyway, with that being said, guys, we're always on Charts by Tradeway in this little webinar here, Live Trading Thursday. If you don't have Charts by Tradeway yet and you want to give it a try, just go ahead and go to chartsbytradeway.com. I just put that in the comment box there. So chartsbytradeway.com is going to let you take a look at both our basic version and our elite version. See what you like and let us know if you've got any questions. So with that, we're going to sign off for this one today. Thanks for being on, guys. I'll be back with you guys. Well, I'll put it this way. I think I'll be back with you guys next week. But my wife is expecting in about 3 weeks. And so it's at that point where who knows what will happen, right? So it might be me. It might be a last minute sub. We're going to have to find out. I don't even know yet. So the next few weeks until the baby comes are going to kind of be hit and miss for me. But someone will be here. So, all right, guys, we will see you guys when I see you guys next. Thanks.